Let's modify iPhone. We place the three phones on a heating platform, we heat the back covers, we label the three phones, and also the boxes for screws and small parts, as A, B, and C. That way, each phone, each motherboard, and each component match up. After heating is done, we remove the bottom screws on all three phones. First, let's disassemble phone A. We lift a notch and slide a plastic tool around the back cover. The entire iPhone 16 series is taken apart starting from the back cover. Opening the back cover, we see a metal battery. Only the iPhone 16 Pro features a metal battery. Let's protect the rear-facing camera, then disconnect the battery flex cable. Next, disconnect the flex cable on the back cover. Now we can remove the back cover. To expand storage, we replace the storage chip on the motherboard, the hard drive, with a higher capacity one. So we need to remove the motherboard and all external parts. These cameras, flex cables, charging ports, antennas, etc. are all attached to the motherboard via connectors. We also need to remove the earpiece assembly, then remove the four large external brackets that hold the motherboard in place. Now we can take out the motherboard. We should be careful because the display flex cable is clamped directly. After disconnecting the sensor cable on top, we can remove the motherboard. Let's look at this motherboard, which we labeled A. We'll continue to remove the motherboards of devices B and C. After removing them, we label them B and C. Notice that the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max have motherboards of the same size. In fact, you can barely see any difference. The only difference is the black sticker above the SIM tray. On this side, you basically can't tell them apart. We remove all the phone pieces from the connectors on the three motherboards. For motherboard C, we'll upgrade it to 512 gigabytes. For B and A, we'll upgrade them to 1 terabyte, so we add additional labels for these. Once labeled, we protect the area around the storage chips on each motherboard. We start by placing the motherboard that's going to 512 gigabytes into a jig. Then we secure the two motherboards going to 1 terabyte in jigs as well. Now all three motherboards are secured. First, we preheat the storage chip on the 512 gigabytes motherboard. Then we clear away the adhesive around it. We add a small amount of desoldering agent. We remove the original small storage chip. For reference, that chip was 256 gigabytes. After removing the storage chip, we apply a small amount of solder flux to the pad. We clean the pad and make it smooth. After cleaning thoroughly, we take out the 512 gigabytes chip. We add new solder balls to it. We spread some solder paste. Then heat each solder point until it melts. Some people watch quietly, but they secretly like, comment, share, repost, and follow. Those people are just too adorable. Next, we preheat the pad. We apply a small amount of flux. We position the 512 gigabytes chip. Once each solder joint is melted and in position, we gently touch the chip to check for springback. That little bouncy feeling means the soldering is done. We move on to the other two motherboards that need 1 terabyte. We preheat all around the chip, remove the adhesive, use a small amount of flux and heat, remove the original storage chip, and while it's still hot, we smooth and clean the pad. After we finish that, we remove the storage chip from the other motherboard as well. Some people watch quietly, but secretly send TikTok gifts. Those people are just too adorable. Using the same method, we smooth and clean that pad. 2. Now we prepare two 1 terabyte chips, preheat the pad and apply flux, and install each new 1 terabyte chip. We check for that bouncy feeling on both chips. That means they're soldered properly. At this point, all three phones have been upgraded. We seal the edges of each new chip with black epoxy. Some people watch quietly as I modify phones, but secretly like, comment, share, repost, and follow. Those people are so adorable. We clean each motherboard. We'll start installing motherboard A. So we wipe off the labeling on A, replace all the phone pieces, and clean the phone frame for A. We install the motherboard. After securing the motherboard, we reinstall the earpiece. Then we remove leftover adhesive around the edges of the chassis. Next, we install motherboard B. Once all three motherboards are installed, we apply the waterproof adhesive and reattach the back glass. We clean everything up, then place the three phones into a heated press to secure them. Once that's done, we reinstall the bottom screws on each phone. For the sake of time, we're not showing the system installation step here. After it's successfully installed, we check each phone. All of them activate fine. We go to Settings General About and see one phone at 512 gigabytes and two at 1 terabyte. In future use, you can restore or upgrade the software without any problems. We power off all three phones, then return the original storage chips to the customers and pack the phones back into their original boxes. I'm deeply grateful for these three fans' support. If you ever get the chance, come hang out with me.